Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer with a situation that will seriously test your mental boundaries. We're going to explore this absolutely fascinating concept from Tom Sponheim's book, Flex Thinking, and we'll see exactly how our own minds lock us out of incredibly simple, elegant solutions literally every single day. So picture this scenario. Your street is packed with cars. You've got a single-lane driveway at your house, and you own two cars. Naturally, you probably assume you absolutely must park one car in the driveway and the other one out on that crowded street, right? I mean, it's just common sense. If you park them nose to tail in the driveway, someone's going to get blocked in. But here is where it gets really interesting. The limitation we're facing isn't actually the physical space of the driveway. Both cars fit perfectly fine. The real roadblock is our rigid assumption that one specific car belongs strictly to one specific person. We put these labels on them, like my car and my partner's car. We get completely trapped by this concept of individual ownership. But watch what happens if we just drop that concept of ownership. If we treat those two vehicles as completely equivalent, meaning, hey, a car is just a tool to get from point A to point B, the entire parking problem instantly vanishes. You just park both cars in the driveway. Whoever leaves the house first, they take the outermost car. Unless there's some highly specific reason you need a particular vehicle, treating them as equivalent solves a spatial problem with just a tiny shift in perspective. To really understand why we miss simple, elegant solutions exactly like that one, think about how we navigate the world. Our brains basically operate like the simplified map view on Google Maps. We actually need this simplified model to get around. If our brains tried to process every single detail of absolute reality, like Street View with its trillions of details, textures, and just millions of stimuli, well, we'd be completely overwhelmed. We wouldn't be able to function. And that right there is the crucial point. This mental optimization creates our personal box. Our minds optimize for efficiency. We filter out all that daily noise, and we build this simplified model of the world. But here's the catch. We mistake this model for absolute reality. So while this box keeps us functioning, it simultaneously hides brilliant alternative solutions right out of our view. We become totally blind to anything that doesn't fit our optimized little model. Which brings us to flex thinking. This is the deliberate, step-by-step practice of actually recognizing that you are operating inside a mental box, and then intentionally checking your deepest assumptions so you can step outside of it. It's really all about finding the cracks in your established worldview so you can discover those non-obvious, incredibly elegant solutions. Okay, let's try a quick mental exercise to demonstrate a very specific flex thinking technique. I want you to ask yourself what these two entirely random things share: a kite and a frog. Take a second. Seriously, what on earth do they have in common? Your normal mindset probably instantly highlighted how wildly different they are, right? One is alive, one is paper, one croaks, one flies. But when we force ourselves to find similarities, we completely shift our perspective. Look at this. Both have four-letter names. Both feature a type of skin stretched over a rigid internal frame, wood for the kite, bone for the frog, and both rely heavily on air. One uses it for lift, the other for oxygen. And this brilliantly illustrates our core focus today, the solution pattern of looking for equivalence. Breakthroughs rarely ever happen by obsessing over differences. They happen by treating seemingly different things as similar. When you deliberately look for equivalence, you're slowly prying open the walls of your mental box. Let's take this concept out of the abstract and look at some real-world equivalence. We're going to build on this with a great case study about home security. Take a standard car key remote. Most of us don't have expensive hardwired house alarms, but almost everyone has a car alarm. Now, your mental box is going to say, well, car alarms are strictly for cars. But if you recognize that a car's panic button is functionally equivalent to a house alarm, because let's face it, they both make a massive, terrifying noise to scare off intruders, you instantly gain middle-of-the-night security. Just keep your car keys right on your nightstand, hear someone break in, hit the panic button. Boom, you've just solved a home security problem simply by looking for equivalence. Let's try another one. Imagine you want to offer your free basement apartment to a relative who really needs a place to stay. But there's a major catch. They smoke, and your spouse is highly allergic to cigarette smoke. So how do you solve this without causing a massive family rift or, sending your spouse to the hospital? If you look at this problem head on, you're going to feel entirely trapped by the physical constraints of that specific brick basement. You're trying to figure out how to force the smoker into that exact room without the smoke escaping into the rest of the house. It feels impossible, right? That's because your mental box is totally fixated on the physical location of your specific basement. But what happens if you take a step back and realize your basement is economically equivalent to any other apartment in the city? By looking for equivalence, the solution becomes super obvious. You simply rent your basement out to a non-smoker, then you take that rental income and use it to pay for a completely different apartment across town for your relative. Everyone wins, and you didn't have to change a single brick in your house. Now let's push this concept to the absolute limit. Let's look at how equivalence can actually save you during a major crisis. Because let me tell you, when panic sets in, our mental boxes become more rigid than ever. Imagine a natural disaster has just hit. Our optimized mental model screams that supermarkets are the absolute only place to acquire food. That shared assumption immediately leads to massive crowds, utter panic, and completely empty grocery shelves. Meanwhile, right down the street, there is an entire building filled with edible nutrition that is completely ignored just because it sits outside our mental box. Yep, the pet store. If you use equivalence, you realize pet stores are also locations containing nutrition. Look, it might not be your first choice for Tuesday night dinner, but in a true survival situation, dog food and cat food are packed with proteins and vitamins. Beggars can't be choosers. By treating the pet store as nutritionally equivalent to the grocery store, you completely bypass the panic and secure sustenance while everyone else is fighting over empty shelves. Tom Sponheim has this brilliant quote that perfectly captures this whole philosophy. He says, "The differences are inside the box, and the equivalences only appear when we peek outside the box." The differences between things are always obvious. They live safely inside our optimized mental model. But those elegant solutions, they exist just past those assumptions. They only appear when we deliberately pause and ask ourselves, wait, how are these two things actually the same? So I want to leave you with a little homework to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. Look around your life right now. What stubborn problems, workplace dilemmas, or personal roadblocks just seem completely impossible to fix? What if the answer is already right in front of you, just waiting for you to drop your rigid labels and simply look for the similarities? Try flexing your thinking today and see what brilliant equivalent solutions you uncover.